Hey there, Cole here. This is one of 3 different parts from an interview that I had with Tixs, one of the best free-to-play players for Street Fighter Duel. At the time of this video, he cleared Chapter 36, but since then he's cleared Chapter 37, so he's going over some of his account stuff and his builds and tips for new-to-play players, free-to-play players, as well as players who just want to look to improve. If you're interested in the other 2 videos, the first one of which we'd go over general stuff regarding Street Fighter Duel, and the second one is more of a laissez-faire. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things, including other types of games he plays, as well as other types of anime, and get a little bit more in-depth in those. Those are going to be available, if not already, on my channel, so take a peek over there if you're interested in them. Without any further ado, here is Tixs.
Maybe I could share some of my thought process and my account.
Yeah, sure.
And why I progress. I mean, why I invest in some of these units. Okay, so basically, in every game, like the DPS is the one that's most important. So if you look at my box, it's basically full of just DPSs that is fully invested. I maybe should not disown poison, but whatever. But like most of the units that has stars or that is quite invested are DPSs. It's not because I was lucky enough just to build the DPS units, but it's just because, for instance, you have Makoto, Mayor Cody, OG Blanca, normal Dudley. These ones I was just unlucky. Well, maybe this one I was unlucky, E Honda, but Zang, I kind of fed him because early on we were noobs at some point, right? So I fed Zangief, which is one of my biggest regrets. But then, nonetheless, forget it. But why these characters, the lower tier characters, are lower stars is because I fed away the characters because I don't need in the sense of like I don't need them to be 5-star, right? Like I could 5-star them. Like for my OG Blanca, I think I could awaken him, but I'm not, because for example, what does 1 star on a unit that you don't use give you, right? So then sometimes if I had another Makoto, for instance, or another Mayor Cody, Dudley, I would just feed him off, not using them for stars, but using them for fodder. That's why you see a lot of more focused units that is 5 stars, 4 stars. Right. Because, I intentionally made them my focus. Okay. And for my plus 30s and the 6 scars, some people play differently. Every account is different. But then it's the general consensus that you want to plus 30 your main DPS first. And bossing is the most important. Right. Alongside, because bossing, events, and then probably I would do challenge mode, and PvP is in a similar boat. But when I say PvE, I meant like story tower and normal challenge modes. So focusing on units for bossing is quite vital. For example, Fashion Blanca, OG Chun-Li, and Viper. Those are some bossing units that is nice to have for your account. And having a good bossing team that could basically be used in PvE and PvP is nice, right? But then if you focus on bossing, then you have higher scores in either Crusade or event bosses, which brings you more reward. So you look at things as return on your investment. So you invest in story unit, you're basically getting so little out of it, right? Right. So if I, for instance, build Dalsim just for story, because he's really good in story mode, he's probably not gonna replace my bossing team. Maybe not even gonna be in my PvP team, just because I use a different comp. So if I focus on that just for story, and I get like basically super low returns on the units that I invested for that content, then it's basically not useless, of course, because you can use it a lot of places, but it becomes less priority. So you have to start to look at, okay, if I do want to prioritize PvP, like, do you have a good bossing team built up? And then if you start to finish your bossing team, you start to build some of your PvP units that could also used in PvE contents.
So for bossing teams, like you're saying specifically like your guild crusades, like Orsis and Betharak, and then anything that shows up in events like the two ponies and the Ice Ogre and stuff like that.
Exactly, like Guild Shadowlands, like the higher you score, like I have 300 mil here, but I could go a little higher. But the more you score, the more rewards that you can do, and you just raid it all day, right? So what you do is you can challenge it and then just back off because it doesn't take your attempt, and it just re-challenge it until you're satisfied. You can see at the top the waves and the number of score that you would get. And then once you get a really good run, it could take you hours, right? Just get a really good run.
Right.
And then you start to just end it there and then raid maybe for weeks, right? Until you're satisfied. Actually, I gain a little more levels. I might, be motivated to push it higher.
Right.
But then just the raid system is really important.
And that's what I noticed is that if you get a score you're happy with, right now my guild is only doing like 100 million, 130 million around there. And like every so often I'll go in and try to get a higher score and then just raid it, because once you get a high score, I did notice that raid keeps your last highest score.
Exactly.
I also noticed that it keeps your last score regardless. So if you get a low score accidentally, you have to re-challenge it to get a better score.
Exactly.
I made that mistake once.
So yeah, just back off. If you're close to the timer and you're not gonna get that good score, just back off.
Okay.
And for Crusade, like when you're talking about bosses, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have good teams. I can show it to you, but then usually I run before I run this team. This is actually one of Sylvius's teams, one of the Discord members.
Okay.
Before this, I was running Bison, Fashion Blanca, Guile, Street Poison, but I change it more towards Viper, Fashion Blanca, and Chun-Li. The reasons why is because I do want to get supers from Chun-Li, but her animation's too long, and Fashion Blanca's animation's too long.
Okay.
So my initial theory craft was that it's Bison, Fashion Blanca, Chun-Li, Street Poison, but then the animation was too long for that team to actually work.
Right, because Bison explodes after you do your level 3, right?
Yeah. Okay. So for example, you know how Fashion Blanca works, right?
Yep.
When you press Fashion Blanca Super, you need to wait a little bit for your C1, so then you can activate your C2.
Right.
If you've noticed that.
Otherwise, you drop the combo.
Yeah. So when you drop the combo, you basically drop the poison stacks. So you want to get your poison stacks higher. So you want to have characters that is quick with the animations. Yeah, so you can't super with Fashion Blanca now, and then you start to think, can you super with Chun-Li? The answer is no, because for Chun-Li, you need a C3, and her C3 animation is so long that you can't super with her. And so C3 and then super, and then keep the poison stacks combo.
Okay.
So the only way to fix it, right, is for someone else to super.
Right.
And the only character that benefits really much from the super is Viper, right? And Viper has different benefits, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Sylvius's comp, but I'm just explaining the thought process to this comp. And the main components was Fashion Blanca and Chun-Li cannot work just both of them together with Bison or other characters because they can't keep the stacks. So that's why Viper's there. That's just the thought process.
Interesting.
So yeah, the two metas is Street Poison stacks and Flame Chun-Li. Flame Chun-Li is pretty good, but I'm a free-to-play player, right? So I don't have access to Flame Chun-Li, but she's damn good.
Okay.
What else? I would probably say, yeah, Arena is pretty important because you get a lot of rewards from the placements that you get, like these special tickets. If you would say who in the special banner or the red tickets I should go for compared to Evil Ryu and Akuma, like both of them is good, right? Evil Ryu has pretty good supporting capabilities. He's not really good in the damage department, but he has a lot of utilities.
Right.
And Akuma is just a really strong DPS, and he's pretty selfish in the sense that it's only around, everything's around him.
Right.
But I mean, both of them sucks. Both of them is really good. That's why they're special characters. But if you would say to pick one of them, I would say just save and then wait for someone that is way more impactful than both of them. I went for Akuma because, you know, I was stupid, right? I was stupid. I went for Akuma, maybe got him to A+, and then the sunk cost fallacy dips in and says, okay, shit, you know, I have to complete it just because I already started. You know, it would be a waste if I complete it. So I start to complete it. I don't regret it yet because I don't play with it and then see how he performs compared to my other characters. But that's just that's my advice. I would say save for units that is going to be like really, really impactful.
Okay. Now, I was going to say, I suffer from, I want new characteritis, so...
Yep.
I think the only 3 characters I don't have are Flame Chun-Li, Sagat, and Vega, just because I focused on actually getting my I was a good noodle and actually focused on getting my Bison up to triple S finally.
Mm-hmm. Good.
But I do want those character images filled in on my gallery, unfortunately. And I think I'll always struggle with that. Like, seeing how many people, seeing all those unobtains, it's just like, man.
Yeah, mine's look quite a lot of unobtains.
I need it.
But yeah, talking about Vega and Sagat is pretty good, but it's more in the sense that is in PvP and challenge mode, he's not really the best for bossing. So
okay,
if you pick a character for bossing, you're not gonna rely on Sagat. For Vega, I don't know why people are shitting on him, right? Because he's pretty damn good in the sense of bossing, because Akuma and Vega paired together is really, really strong.
Okay.
And probably the meta or the highest DPS currently revolves around Akuma and Vega in the same team.
Interesting.
And the only reason why is because Vega's C3 is based on the enemy's lost HP. So if you want someone to support his high damage, you basically have a crazy C2 user, which is Akuma, right?
Okay.
So Akuma deals so much damage that the boss loses so much HP that his C3 is gonna do a lot of damage because the boss loses the HP. So you start to see the combo of how this character can be godly just because Akuma is such a good DPS.
Right.
That Vega's damage based on enemies lost HP becomes super high.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. Was there anything else regarding your account you wanted to flex or show off a little?
Flex? No. I would say OG Blanca. I'm building him. He's my most underrated. Or I like him, right?
Okay.
And his kit, when you first look at it, his 6 out of 6 card is the one I'm most interested. But basically, I mean, I could delve in depth on why I like him, and people would disagree or agree, because you know it's a character that a lot of people disregard, right? So it's hard to convince them that they are good. Just a quick TLDR why he's good is that he applies electrified buff towards himself, which is basically a counter attack. And when you read his 6 out of 6 card, the electrified counterattack has a 10% base chance to inflict 1 stun on the target, right? The stun can interrupt.
Right.
His fighting spirit, electrified counterattack. To trigger electrified counterattack, dealing thunder damage equal to 258%, and the trigger intervals is 12 seconds. But it is actually not that. It is basically this one, which is the buff that he gains himself. And the buff that he gains himself, when he counterattacks, it's basically like a barbed wire where it doesn't go away. Like if the enemies keep on punching, it'll activate that 10% base chance to stun. So it is not from his fighting spirit. That is 12-second interval, which is shit. If it's just 12-second interval, is shit. But in why I see the potential and value is that he gains this buff and he basically counterattacks every single time that he is present. So he's proccing that 6 out of 6 car for 10% base chance to stun no matter what. And why I think it's pretty strong is if you have anyone else to apply effectiveness towards, because base chance can go up and down based on their resistance, effect resistance, enemies effect resistance, and your accuracy, right? So if you pile up a lot of accuracy and then maybe like the chance of interrupting maybe goes to 40 or 50%, That's 40 or 50% every single time they touch this man. So that's why I think he's pretty strong, or underrated at least.
Is there any way to reapply Electrify? I'm trying to look at the.
Yeah, either C1 or C2. The super, it consumes it, not gains it.
Okay.
You mostly do this for Thunder Tower if you do invest in this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You mostly do it for Thunder Tower or PvP, right?
Right.
And PvP, you put him in the front line because in PvP, some units basically is tanky enough, and if you have the right team to make him sustain, then it is nice. Where if he's in the front, he's gonna take all the damage, right, from all the other auto attacks and all the combo attacks, and it actually is effective. Like if you go to the trials, you can see him in action, and you'll actually be surprised how efficient it is. The stuns and stuff like that. Trials is a good place to just mess around and theory craft, because you can see it in practice, or at least understand what the kit is trying to imply.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's basically it in my account showcase. I can talk about like gem usage, what I prioritize in gems. I can talk about how I spend in the shop, like, because in different stages you spend your gems. You either spend your gems in the general store,
right,
for cars or fighting spirit. You either spend the gems on summoning, or you spend the gems on divination, and most of the time you can't spend it all in the same time.
Right.
So you have to pick and strategize what you spend your gems on. Whether it is, okay, I'm gonna focus on cars right now, so you spend your gems on cars, because if you spend your gems on cars and then you want to simultaneously spend on fighting spirit, you can't save your gems for 3k for 20 fighting spirit,
right,
alongside spending like every day like around 1,000 or 1,500 for car tokens and stuff like that. So you can't do that simultaneously.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when I get on, I always get the car tokens, and that's really about it for right now for where I'm at. Is that?
Mm-hmm. I mean, for you, if you lack with, okay, I have 5 fighting spirit 30s right now. I could get more if I did focus on, if I wasn't stupid and focus on Guile on the fragment store. It's nice to have it, but I continued even though he was SSS, just because.
Okay.
I was pushing step honor, so I had like reasons, and I had like, oh, I'm not doing it just because I was impatient. I was doing it so then I could possibly squeeze 1 chapter more. So that was my reason why I did it. But if I didn't do it and then just straight away spend it on boost stone tickets like this one for 37k city tokens, is probably one of the biggest boosts to your accounts you can get. That's where the bulk of my boost stones come from.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know those were there. Like, the last time I had scrolled down in that shop, that was just the B grade fragments.
Yeah, this one is really huge. Like, I could buy it right now. Yeah, 37k, by the way, is maybe 1.5 rotation in 200% Shadowland event, because it's 1 week long, right? So every second day you can buy 1.5 25 boost stone kits. So in the whole week rotation, you get 2, 2, 2, and then just say 1. So you get 5 times 25. Quick math. So it's 125. So you get 125 boost stone tickets from that week of 200% boost stones. That's where I get most of my income from.
Okay.
You can like keep it for 1,000 gems. Yeah, and then you just keep on buying it and buying it. It is not too late to switch, right? Because I also made the mistake to go for, like, some people go for jury, some people go for E-Honda copies or other copies. It's fine, shit's done. You don't want to dwell on your past.
Right. You move forward.
I just move forward.
Okay.
Yeah. For guild shop, there's multiple ways to look at things in here. Where you basically try to clear chapter 33-20, so you get the discount within the guild shop, so you can buy your Fashion Blanca gears. And to be fair, after you buy your Fashion Blanca gears, I would look into normal, even though it's mystery. If you clear 200 in the factional tower, you get the boost in the dojo,
Right.
where you get like 5% chance to get elemental pieces.
And I think that, let me double check, I think that can go up to 100, right?
Yeah, it goes up to 100, so when it's 100, you definitely buy it here. But why I say this might be better than even the discounted version is because with 75% chance, you buy 2 of these for the price of 1.
Right.
So you get 2 gears for the guaranteed gear piece, right? Especially before the discount. You this one is, I don't know why people disregard the mystery ones, because you get 2 gears and you either get the recast stones from events or from different modes, and then just recast it there. You're most likely hitting this with the 75% chance 2 times. Most likely you're gonna get a factional piece gear.
Right.
So I mean, the value is there.
Yeah.
For the general store, you just at least refresh the 100 gems, so that you can get so you get 3 rotation when you first log in, and then 2 times when you refresh the 100 gems. And what I prioritize is, of course, workshop tokens. 100% always buy it. There's like purples for 30. You can buy for like rounded up 500 gems for 30 purple ones. That one is I bought it too. It's good because you can stockpile some of your characters to +5 or +10, and you can keep them there if they only benefit for +5 or +10.
Right.
Because 500 gems for 30 of those boost token things is pretty cheap. If you compare it to the gold ones, like 1,500 for 20, that's expensive.
Right.
So what you do is buy the 15 million cash for 20 of the gold ones.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got my +20s or +10 to +20s stockpile is from there.
Right.
And you can also pay 15 million for 30 of the purple ones, exact same price, but that's just too expensive, because you can just pay 15 million for 20 of the gold ones. So TLDR, buy the gold ones for cash and buy the purple ones for diamonds. That's how you get your stockpile for these pretty high.
And how you stretch your money.
Yeah. So the workshop tokens, you either, if you're focusing on fighting spirit, you don't buy it, right? If you want to focus on different memes, you don't buy these. For free to play, I'm talking about free to play, because if you're paying and you have the monthly subscription and other gem income, it doesn't really matter. You just buy this every single day. But if you are free to play, you have to pick and choose what you're gonna focus on. So you either focus on workshop tokens, and then once you're satisfied with your team, you start to pivot into the boost stones kits, the red ones that you see for 3K. So you start to pivot and start to buy those instead.
Okay.
And if you look at my account, it might look like, okay, I have a lot of cars, I have a lot of fighting spirit, and I have a lot of units built, right? And also my rose is getting up there. So it's like, how the hell does a free-to-play have all this stuff, right? And it's not because I just simultaneously work on cars and then fighting spirit, summons, and all that all at the same time. You can consider me as a min-maxer. So in the events, right? If there is some gem value, like boost stone kits, like in the FAG, it gives a lot of red boost stones. But in some of the events, like this is a good example actually. Over here, there's a lot of card tokens, and why didn't I pick +10 fighting spirit, right? Because the +10 fighting spirit, if you convert it into gems value, it's not as valuable as if you convert card tokens towards gem value.
Right.
So then you either, for me, if I do pick card tokens, okay, now I'm pretty set with card tokens. I'm just gonna buy fighting spirit to compensate. So because I know that I'm getting a better deal for the cars, I can tone down on spending the cars a bit, just because I got it for a better value here. So why people don't have a lot of fighting spirits like plus or plus 30 is because either A, they just focus, they don't hoard it and then just dump it all into one character. They just separate So you shouldn't do that. You should focus on one project at a time. So instead of just plus 21, plus 22, plus 25, plus 23, plus 22, you don't want to do that, right?
Right.
So focusing on one is key. If someone doesn't do that, then yeah, you should change. But what I'm trying to say is that they don't pick up fighting spirits for events and for gems, and that is quite vital if you want to progress your account, because you're basically competing with others who does invest in their characters. And if you compete with, because right now in Crusade, right, if you do spend your resources wisely into the characters that you're going to use, or is going to be good in that content, and you thrive in that content, like either in PvP or in bosses, you're basically getting more rewards for what you invested, rather than just spreading all your resources and not having a solid plan. You basically can't maximize the potential gains that you get.
Right.
If that makes sense.
You're putting in all the work and not getting anything back out of it if you spread it too thinly.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, I could. What else?
Do you want to talk about anything else?
There is a lot to talk about, but yeah, I think that's probably good. Maybe for like, I don't know if this is like an interview or like just like a once in a while talk of my opinions or your opinions on something, and we can just talk it out.
Listen, my opinion is Dan should be able to go up to Triple S. That's it.
The thing is, like with that, they don't have this in the Taiwanese version, the resonance thing. And then they add like Ken and Ibuki in the EX moves, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, but we're not gonna use them ever, right? Why are you gonna put in the effort to buff them? So maybe we cannot version compare. Maybe they could be usable. This is just full copium, but it's not.
It is full cope, because somebody brought up a good point, and it's like, if you could bring anybody up, like let's say for example you could bring Ken up, because I think that Ken has a pretty useful passive.
He does.
If you could bring him up to Triple S, like it would confuse any of the newer players because they're traditionally food.
Yeah.
And
that is fair, but the CN version has the same Ken, the exact same passive Ken, also able to be usable in compared to other characters. So
alright, I'm so upset. Give me Dan.
What'd you say?
I said I'm upset. Give me Dan.
In Taiwanese, there's actually like a character called the Strongest Dan that is just newly released.
Okay. So there's hope.
And there is hope, and he looks pretty strong. I didn't read his kit, but then what he does is that he buffs you like crazy, and he debuffs them like crazy. I don't know what buffs they are, but then he just pulls the thumbs up, and then you just get an immense buff. It could be an RNG type character, but yeah, it looks pretty strong based on just how it looks.
Yeah, so the resonance is in other games, but the like specific ones is not. Like the Ibuki one you said?
No, they don't have the resonance period.
Okay. Interesting. Because I haven't touched any of the other versions, like Taiwanese, Chinese.
Yeah, so there is hope.
If that was insightful or helpful, let me know down below. Let me know if there was anything that you would have liked to know, and I can reach out to him and see if he's got an answer for it. Or you can reach out to him in the Discord yourself. That link is in the description below as well. But for now, I'm going to throw it back to past me, and we can do this wrap up. Keep your eyes peeled for the other videos if you haven't watched them already. But alrighty, did you have anything else you wanted to say or talk about or anything like that?
I think we covered quite a bit of bases.
And quite a bit of other stuff as well. But thank you so much for dropping on and chatting for a little bit. If people can find you in the Discord or anywhere else you want to throw out.
Yeah, I'm basically mostly in the Discord, in the main official Discord. I do not trash talk, but you vent out a little bit in the Reddit, because Reddit is Reddit. That's just the environment it is.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, probably either there, or if you're in EU, you probably see me quite a bit in the normal general chat. in-game jail chat.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where you probably could find me.
Yeah, so if you're ever around playing the game or want to drop by the Discord and see Tixs, say hello, say help me, teach me your ways, and he might be able to help you out.
Exactly.
But again, thank you so much for dropping by. So that's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna end it as I always do with the recording. So for you, Tixs, and everybody else, I guess, watching the video, take care of yourselves and remember to tell the people in your life that you care about, that you love them. That's it.
Bye, guys.